The chime rang in the antechamber. Quetzal, god of terror, eater of souls, god of existences 4, rose slowly from his desk. Odd, the high priest rarely requests an audience these days. Strolling through the chamber doors and into the throne room, Quetzal climbed the dais and sat on the high gilded throne. Small bolts of lightning began to dance and crackle around his head. As he peered down, he could see the current high priest Gorkt and a new male he didn't recognize standing next to him. Both were typical of his subjects, bipedal, about 2 meters tall with dark brown hair on top of their heads. Neither was prostrate as was the tradition. The new male did not have on a vestment robe, but a suit and tie instead. Quetzal frowned. Speak. I shall hear your request, and then decide what your punishment for insolence shall be. Small peals of thunder rumbled out, and a small flurry of snow blew through the room. Greetings, your, godliness. You tell him. I thought we agreed you would speak, you are the high priest. No, you do it. Speak now. Quetzal roared. A small rainbow appeared behind the priest and the unknown male. The unknown male stepped forward. Good afternoon. My name is Turdrum. Mr. God Quetzal, we've come to tell you that we are leaving. Leaving? A frown appeared on Quetzal's brow. You wish to sacrifice yourself to me. Very well then, I shall prepare to receive your soul into. No. We are leaving this world, this plane of existence. We are transcending, all of us. Turning into beings of pure thought, power and energy. Next step in evolution kind of thing. What? Yes, so we are no longer going to be here, but there are a few items we need to settle before we go. Quetzal burst out laughing. A joke. You attempt to amuse your god. I may allow you to live. No, we really are transcending. Tomorrow at 1:30 in the afternoon. A puzzled look crossed Quetzal's face. Gorkt spoke up. Well, we did vote on this, but a lot of people wanted lunch first. Ha ha ha, you amuse your god. Primitives such as yourselves transcending. You still send a sacrifice every week as it is commanded. How could ignorant beings such as yourselves, who tremble in fear and send their people to, well, about that. Silence. A sacrifice shall be made, male and female every 7th day, to appease the hunger of the Lord God Quetzal. For 4,000 years you and your ancestors have obeyed my law. Yeah, about that. Gorkt spoke. See, we haven't actually made any sacrifices in the past 300, is it 300? Yes, in the past 300 years. Foolish mortals. I see the souls enter the fire, the people consumed by the flames of my wrath, or their bodies torn asunder by Icus and Reeb, my dogs of war. Holograms? What? Projections? Fakes? Androids for when you bring the pups out for their monthly chew fest. We ran out of criminals about 300 years ago. Guess we should kinda thank you for that. No crime meant we could work on the whole transcendence thing. 300 years later, and here we are. They did start to all look alike. Then again after 4,000 years. Impudent worms. I shall strike you where you stand, with my terrible bolts of lightning. Thunder roared, the smell of spring showers wafted through the room. We know it's a weather machine. Ignorant creatures. Feel the wrath, huh? You bought a used one on eBay. It's kinda broken. Oh. Rain was hitting the ceiling from a thunderstorm on the floor. Quetzal flipped a small switch hidden on the side of the throne. The rain stopped. Water dripped from the ceiling. Crap. Thanks. Now, to the matter at hand. I have an invoice here, if you will just give me a minute. Turdrum shook the water off a brown leather briefcase, opened it, and took out a piece of paper. He put on a pair of reading glasses. Invoice to Quartzl. For damages. 1,364,365,211,364,927 galactic credits and 62 cents. We would like a cashier's check by, say, noon tomorrow. Or we can do a wire transfer if that is more convenient. We are willing to cover half the wire transfer fees. Damages? What damages? Well, there is the matter of 467,284 people sacrificed in the past 4 millennia, and all their stuff. Their relatives made claims. It would have been 374,400. Except you kinda went nuts around the 5th century AQ with the whole festivals of sacrifice thing. How do you know how many souls were consumed? Only a god would have that knowledge. The book. Book? What book? Book of Souls. You commanded it. Gorik took out a small leather-bound book. Where is it? Oh, right. Ahem, and thou shalt buildeth a sacrificial temple to your god Quartzl. And every 7th day, a male and female shall be brought before me with all their worldly possessions, wherefore I shall slake my hunger and feed upon their souls, and their possessions shall be tribute. A high priest shall be appointed to serve your god, and a great book shall be kept of every soul sacrificed, so the people may read and be reminded of the power of their god. The Word of Quartzl, chapter 4, verse 26. Oh. Forgot about. Very well. Bring forth the Book of Souls, so I may verify that my people have followed my command. Well, we don't actually have the book anymore. It was getting pretty big. Yeah, and pretty moldy. You know, the whole rain indoors thing. Then thou hast not kept the word, and thy claim shall be denied. We made a copy. Wah, copy. Yeah, said Gorik. A digital copy. Took a team of 327 forensic specialists and genealogists and a supercomputer 4.5 years to get all the names and relatives sorted out. All digital now. Totally legal. Added Turdrum. We included the bill for that in the figure. Failure to maintain proper environmental equipment in a relic storage area. Only fair. I can email it to you. Gorik removed a small black metal slab from his pocket. It had a small bright screen on it. What is your email address? Pinknagitson. Sorry. pinkponygod7@deity.com. The two extensions stared. Okay. Thank you. Slaves. Wait. How did you come up with that quadrillion and something figure anyways? Property damages. What are you talking about? Turdrum pulled out a similar thin metal box to Gorik's, only larger and gold-colored. Just a sec. Search property claims. Here we go. There are a few miscellaneous buildings stuck by large balls of fire. A small city in the 2nd millennium when Ikas and Reeb got out. By the way, the animal welfare folks asked to have a chat with you later on. The judge ruled in your favor on a couple $100 trillion in earthquake damages over the millennia. Plate tectonics and stuff. I argued that for you. Turdrum waved. Yay. And then there was an island nation. You commanded a temple be built there. Then you sank and destroyed the whole thing. All beachfront property. Current estimated property values would be. Whoa. They did not follow my word. I commanded only virgins be brought to that temple as sacrifice. It was an island nation. I know what it was. I destroyed it. Tropical island. You know, beaches, resorts, mostly college kids and 20-somethings, not much sacrificial, supply available. In any case, you lost on that one. Judge ruled it an unreasonable demand. But, that was an act of God. Quartzl suddenly grinned. Yes, an act of me. And as such I cannot. You're not a god. Be held responsible for. Wait, what? Yeah, we know you're not a god, said Turdrum. We know your name is Blurkus Quorswaffer, you're one of the ultra-long-lived Slidovians. But, how did you? Facebook? Dude, you have been posting about stuff you did to us for over 4,000 years. You discovered a small human colony that had gone native after the crash of a survey ship. Took a team of 623 researchers 16 years to read your entire timeline, archive and cross-reference everything. That billable time is included. And what makes you think I have that much money? Again. Facebook. Yeah, photo comments. Something about rolling with the homies and spending fat stacks. Oh. Yes, and then there was the period where you demanded we bring only the wealthiest and their bounty for sacrifice after you proclaimed that the holy visa bill must be paid. Couple of groups fought wars over the interpretation of that one for about 1500 years. So, we will just leave this here. And we will let the animal welfare folks know we are done. Thanks for the whole crime elimination thing. And when you leave, if you wouldn't mind flipping the breaker off. Really big switch outside the front door. Can't miss it. We left a dark energy reactor on to run the planet after we leave. But the Zerkidas asked if they could buy it. Sure. The two humans walked out. Quartzl leaned back in his throne and sighed. He looked down and flipped a switch. A small tornado popped into being and moved across the side wall. He watched intently. Author's account and the link to original text is in the description.